Hello everyone, welcome to this first online Buddhist Spring Festival from the Tibetan Buddhist Society. My name is Jean de Cruz. The theme for this festival is exploring kindness and resilience, timeless gems for a modern world. In this session today, I'd like to talk about how we can develop kindness. From the time that we're born, positive or constructive minds, which includes thoughts, feelings, and emotions, affect our physical, social, and emotional development. Studies have shown that when children receive warmth and affectionate care from their parents, they grow up to be happier, more resilient, and less anxious adults. However, children who do not have affectionate parents tend to have lower self-esteem and to feel more alienated, more hostile, more aggressive, and antisocial. A newborn baby would last only hours without their mother's love and care. So we need to receive love in order to know how to give it. The core of Buddhist practice is compassion and great compassion. Compassion is the wish for others to be free of suffering and all causes of suffering, and great compassion is the wish for everyone, without exception, to be free from suffering and all causes of suffering. Developing these qualities is of benefit not just for other people, but it's also the best way for us to have a happy life. His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, "The more you nurture a feeling of kindness, the happier and calmer you will be." What His Holiness is saying is that the best way to cultivate happiness for ourselves is to be kind towards others. And the research actually supports this. Many studies have been done now to demonstrate the benefits of being kind and of practicing loving kindness meditation. Loving kindness means having a tenderness and a consideration towards others. For example, a study of meditation on compassion showed that people who meditated on compassion had a reduction in their stress response. They had an increase in resilience, which led to a quicker recovery after a stressful challenge. Other studies of loving kindness meditation show that it can lead to a shift so that people experience daily more positive minds such as joy, contentment, hope, and gratitude. And people who developed these increased positive minds also increased their positive relationships with other people. They increased their good physical health, they had more satisfaction with life, and they experienced fewer symptoms of depression. Researchers at the University of California have shown that a major way that we can boost our own well-being is by being kind to others. Kindness can increase our life satisfaction, it can decrease pain, reduce inflammation, and even affect our bodies at a cellular level. Kindness can improve your mood. Doing acts of kindness increase people's optimism and their life satisfaction. Kindness may affect how fast our cells age, and studies suggest that just 3 sessions of loving kindness meditation can improve focus, and just 8 sessions of loving kindness meditation were shown to decrease pain in a group of patients with chronic low back pain. So being kind to others has benefits for us. So if you want to boost your happiness, if you want to feel less pain, and maybe age more slowly, then start being more kind. We all have this capacity to develop our kindness, but we do need to nurture the capacity and that potential. Experience as well as scientific evidence tells us that it is possible to cultivate and strengthen our positive mind of kindness. The spiritual head and founder of the Tibetan Buddhist Society, Geshe Chayatupten Lodin, used to say that everything is possible through acquaintance. Cultivating positive minds like kindness become easier with familiarity, and they will strengthen. And research has shown that because of the plasticity of our brain, we can bring about psychological as well as physiological benefits from meditation. The kindness, love, and compassion that we want to develop is an equal-hearted sense of concern for all beings simply because they exist. And they want happiness and they don't want suffering just as we do. And it is possible to develop these qualities through meditation. But before we meditate on developing kindness, love, and compassion, we first need to develop a mind of equanimity. Equanimity here means that we have a more even attitude towards everyone. We tend to categorize people as friend, enemy, or stranger. And we do this depending on what they have done for us or not. And the focus here is on the benefit just for ourselves. This is a very self-oriented way of viewing people. You like your friend because they praise you, they do things that you find pleasant. You're critical of an enemy because they dislike you, they criticize you. You're indifferent to strangers because they neither benefited nor harmed you. When we see someone as a friend, our attachment arises. Attachment is where we perceive a person as attractive, we exaggerate their attractiveness, and then we have a wish to retain and possess them. The feeling of attachment is about what the person can do for us, rather than actually caring about the other person. So when we see our friend, this mind or feeling of attachment arises. Then when we see someone as an enemy, we feel fearful, we feel agitated, so our anger, our hatred or aversion develops. When we say enemy, it doesn't mean we're at war. It could just mean someone who's hurt us in some way, or whoever it is that's making things hard for us at the moment. Or it could be someone we're finding it difficult to communicate with. For that moment, it's the person that we're not getting along with. Anger is where we have aversion for someone, we exaggerate their faults, and then we have a wish to harm them. And this is what happens when we see this type of person. Our feeling of antagonism or aversion arises. Then, when we see someone as a stranger, we're uninterested, so our indifference and our ignorance arises. So our mind goes up and down like this, depending on who we encounter at any time. And this happens even when we're thinking about these people. We don't even need to see them for our attachment, our antagonism, and our indifference to arise. So it's very difficult for us to experience happiness, much less develop kindness, love, and compassion when our mind is so uneven like this. Now, how do we come to categorize people like this? We think that the people who are our friends, it seems from their own side, they are wonderful people, that it's unrelated to us. But it's only because they do things for us, they support us, that they become wonderful to us and therefore our friend. The person who's obnoxious, it looks like this because of something inside them. We think this has nothing to do with us, this person is just obnoxious. But actually, we give them the label obnoxious because they criticize us. They don't agree with our ideas or they get in our way. The people to whom we feel indifferent, we feel are inherently uninteresting. But actually, we feel this because they don't affect us, they don't notice us, they don't give us things, they don't support us. We think we are seeing everybody objectively. But what's the common theme here? It's what others do for us that determines our feelings of friend, enemy, or stranger towards them. It's not how they are from their side, it's our mind and what we make them into. Someone is a friend because they think I'm wonderful. Is there anybody who can't stand us who we think is wonderful? No. Anyone who can't stand us is a horrible person. Also, we don't think of someone we can't stand as a wonderful person. So this is what is behind these categories that we put people into friend, enemy, or stranger, what they do for us. And this is a really self-centered approach to how we view and relate to people. But when we start to be aware of this, then we can start to be more even in our feelings towards others. Then we can reflect that actually these categories of friend, enemy, stranger are uncertain. These relationships actually are so changeable. People are not inherently friends, enemies, and strangers. We can argue with our best friend, and they can become an enemy. We can lose contact with our friend, and they become a stranger. We can apologize to an enemy. We can start communicating with them. We give them a present, and they become a friend. And in fact, all our loved ones and all our friends were once strangers. So when we're aware of the changeable nature of relationships, then we can be more even in our feelings towards others. And in fact, our view of others is subjective. We look at a person, they appear wonderful. Someone else looks at that person, they appear obnoxious. We look with our point of view, the other person looks with a different point of view. But the reality is the person has both good qualities as well as faults. Everyone has some attachment, some anger. Everyone has some generosity, some love, some compassion. It just depends on what they show to us and what they show to other people. If someone shows their anger to us, they become an enemy. If they show their anger to someone we don't like, we think this person is smart and we like them because they can see that other person is a bad person. So when we consider all the aspects of other people, then we can start to be more even in our feelings towards them. Because we tend to only see the faults of our enemies, never their qualities. We only see the qualities of our friends, never their shortcomings. And we're indifferent to the faults or qualities of strangers. But if we were, for example, to reflect on the qualities and good actions of our enemies, then we can be more even in our feelings towards them. If we acknowledge the shortcomings of our friends, then we can be more even towards them. So by reflecting in this way, we can have a more even attitude towards others. Then without strong attachment, strong aversion, and strong indifference towards people, we can be more open and more even towards them. Also, from their side, the people whom we categorize as friend, enemy, and stranger are equal, regardless of how we categorize them, because everybody equally wants less suffering, but everyone continues to experience suffering. Everybody equally wants more happiness, but they find it difficult to find true happiness. Everybody equally faces suffering and death. So by reflecting like this, then we can start to have a more even attitude and feelings towards others. We can also see that others are just like us in wanting less suffering and more happiness. We want to be free of whatever suffering we are experiencing. We'd like more happiness. Everybody else has the same wish for themselves. So in this sense, they're no different from us. So by reflecting like this, then we start to have a more even attitude towards others. Then the next step to develop our kindness is to develop the feeling that others are worthy of our love and kindness by reflecting on the kindness shown to us by others. So we start by reflecting on the kindness, first of all, of our family and our friends. Then we reflect on the kindness of all other people. And this is because everything that we have depends on the kindness of others. All that we eat and drink comes from the work of others. Our food depends on other people growing it, distributing it to reach us. Our clothes come from other beings or from plants grown by others, then made into material by others again, then sown and distributed to us. Our homes, our enjoyments, our entertainments all come from others. Our knowledge, our skills come from other people teaching us and guiding us. So when we see that all our necessities and enjoyments come from the work of others, we can then view other beings as being kind, because they support our very existence and all our forms of enjoyment. Other people can also be considered to be kind because our own development depends on them. Others are the object of our generosity. It's difficult to practice being generous without other beings. And we've all experienced how being generous brings us so much happiness and satisfaction. Other people are the object of our patience. Without difficult people, we can't develop the stability and strength of mind and peace that true tolerance and patience brings us. Others are the object of our love and compassion, so they allow us to develop these precious and joyful realizations of love and kindness. So without others, we couldn't progress in our personal development and in our spiritual development. So by seeing that regardless of how we regard them, everyone is the same in wanting happiness and not suffering. Everyone is just like us in wanting happiness and not suffering equally. Then by seeing how kind everybody is to us, this sets the foundation for us to develop kindness, love, and compassion for all people, no matter what they believe or how they treat us. And this is because our minds now are more even and more open. If we don't have an even mind, it's easier for the strong, self-oriented thoughts and emotions to arise. Then it's more difficult for the constructive minds and emotions like kindness to arise in us. Then the next step is to develop expansive love and kindness. And this is the simple wish for others to have happiness and its causes. When we first start to practice generating love and kindness, it feels artificial. It's contrived. We have to make an effort to experience these emotions. But through practice, then genuine feelings of kindness, love, and compassion can arise in us spontaneously and effortlessly. And this comes as a result of having made an effort over time. A mental transformation like this can bring a lasting change in our mind and our behavior. But we do need to practice continuously. And it is necessary for us to bring about long-lasting change in our thoughts, our emotions, and in our behaviors. When we practice something repeatedly, it then becomes part of our temperament. Though Buddhism emphasizes cultivating love and compassion for others, we mustn't neglect ourselves. We need to have kindness and compassion for ourselves for our own well-being. So we need to be careful of self-criticism. We need to make sure that we're friends with ourselves and treat ourselves kindly so that we are healthy emotionally as well as physically. So to be able to help others, we must take care of ourselves so that we have the physical energy and the mental clarity to be able to benefit them. We need to maintain a sincere attitude that deeply cherishes others and also an attitude that cares for ourselves in a healthy way without being either self-indulgent or self-denigrating. And this is necessary for us to live happily in this life and to make our personal development and our spiritual practice effective. At the same time, we need to be aware of and to lessen our harmful attitudes. So we need to also work on reducing our anger, our ego, arrogance, selfishness, and so on, and to be mindful not to strengthen these. Because these attitudes are harmful to us, because we experience discomfort and tension when they arise in us. And when we act out of them, we alienate ourselves from others. We also need to practice being ethical. Ethics is basically not harming others and, if possible, to help them. So this means having mindfulness of our actions, paying attention to our actions and their effect on others. So when we're practicing ethics, we're not harming others, and if possible, we're helping them. So in the beginning, our practice of ethics starts externally, what we do, what we say to others. But then it becomes more subtle as we work more with the attitudes behind our negative actions. It becomes a practice of being more aware of our mind, our attitude towards others. And this leads us to relate to them better because we're thinking all the time not to harm anyone. And practicing ethics is the way for us to be more relaxed, to be happier, to be unstressed, to be at ease. Because when we're ethical, we have no regret. We have no conscience problems. We have nothing to hide. Because when you're ethical, your physical actions don't give harm. Your speech is gentle and considerate. Your thoughts are not bound by ill will or malice. And people are attracted to this. So any kind of interpersonal strife or conflict is subdued when we're ethical. And we then have a spontaneous arising of friendly cooperation towards others. So these are the things that we need to keep in mind and to practice to develop our loving kindness. Okay, so let's do a meditation now to strengthen our mind, our feeling of loving kindness. So to begin, sit cross-legged on a cushion or however comfortably you can on a cushion, or you can sit in a chair. The main thing is to have an upright, straight spine. Your head should be slightly bent forward, but not too much. Place your right hand over your left with your thumbs just touching and then resting in your lap. Your eyes should be half closed and gazing down and loosely focused. If you find this too difficult, you can close your eyes or have them very slightly open. Your mouth is closed and your jaw is relaxed. So settle comfortably in this position. We start with a stabilizing meditation on our breath to settle our mind. Breathing naturally, place your attention on the process of breathing. Pay attention to the sensation of your breath as it passes through your nose, the slight movement of your chest and your stomach. So bring your attention inwards. Let go of all other sights, sounds, sensations. Let go of all your problems and your worries. Let go of all memories of the past, plans for the future. Just for the moment, you can let them all go. Focus only on the breath. Don't force your breath in any way. Breathe naturally and just place your attention on that process. Your mind will wander off. Just be aware of where it's wandered off to. And gently bring it back again to the breath. Feel your mind settle now, become still, like a very deep, tranquil lake. And we start the meditation with developing a more even attitude towards all people. Here we can recognize that regardless of how we categorize others as friend, enemy, or stranger, from their side, each and every person is equal in wishing for more and more happiness and wishing to have less suffering. Despite wishing to be free from suffering, everyone continues to experience it. Despite wishing for greater happiness, everyone finds true happiness difficult to find. Everyone is equal in the face of suffering and death. Everyone is equal in wanting greater happiness. If this is true from their side, why should we discriminate as to who is or is not worthy of our loving wish for their happiness? Everyone is equally afflicted with suffering of one sort or another. How can we discriminate and identify some as worthy of compassion and others not, based on the fragile circumstances of this life's temporary relationships? By reflecting in this way, you'll see that to look after one set of people on the basis that they've helped you in this life and to ignore and be averse to others is not a kind way to relate to people. So feel a sense of equality towards everyone. By reflecting like this, we establish a clear sense of equality of others based on their own fundamental needs and basic experience of happiness and suffering. Concentrate on that evenness towards others. This feeling is equanimity. By focusing on this feeling of equanimity, our mind becomes more even, we have less irritation, more patience. The negative minds of attachment, aversion, and indifference decrease because you've made the objects of those emotions equal. The next step is to cultivate the feeling that others are worthy of our love and kindness by reflecting on the kindness shown to us by others. Reflect first on the kindness of your family and your friends. Then reflect on the kindness of all others. You can do this by reflecting that all that we have depends on the kindness of others. All that we eat and drink comes from the work of others. Our food has to be grown by other people, distributed by others to reach us. Our clothes come from others, or from plants grown by others, made into materials by other people, put together and distributed to us by yet others. Our homes come from others, our enjoyments come from others. Our knowledge and our skills come from other people teaching us and guiding us. Others can be considered to be kind to us because our own development depends on others. Others are the object of our generosity. It's difficult for us to practice generosity without other beings. We've all experienced how being generous brings us so much happiness and satisfaction. Other people are the object of our patience. Without difficult people, we can't develop the stability and the strength of mind and peace that true tolerance and patience brings us. Others are also the object of our love and compassion. So they allow us to develop the precious and joyful realizations of love and kindness. So without other beings, we couldn't progress in our personal development and our spiritual development. Through this reasoning, generate a feeling of appreciation of the kindness of others. Then we meditate to develop kindness, love, and compassion. First, reflect on your own physical and mental suffering. See clearly how much you wish to be free of it. Then generate the wish for yourself to be completely free of this and all suffering and all causes of suffering by saying silently to yourself, "May I be free from suffering." Then generate the wish for you to experience happiness by saying silently to yourself, "May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace." Repeat this silently to yourself. Then reflect on the suffering experienced by a loved one, someone who's close to you. It could be a parent, a partner, a child, or a very close friend. Pick someone and then visualize a time in their life when they may have been suffering. Then recognize their desire to be free of this suffering and any physical and mental suffering they experience. And bring that person into your mind and your heart. Cultivate the strong aspiration that they be relieved from that suffering and from all suffering and from all causes of suffering. And do this by saying silently to yourself, "May you be free from suffering." Try to make this heartfelt. Then generate the wish for that person to experience happiness by saying silently to yourself, "May you be happy." May you be healthy. May you be at peace. Then move on to a stranger. Visualize someone whose face you recognize, but you don't really know much about them. It could be a neighbor, could be someone at work. Someone you see them, you recognize them, but you don't know much about their life. Pick someone, visualize them. Then visualize a time in their life when they may have been suffering, even if you don't particularly know about it. Bring that person into your mind and into your heart. Then cultivate a strong aspiration that they be relieved from that suffering. From all sufferings and all causes of suffering. By saying silently to yourself, "May you be free from suffering." repeat this phrase to yourself. Then generate the wish for that person to experience happiness by saying silently to yourself, "May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace." Repeat these phrases to yourself. Notice whatever sensations may be present. Say these phrases genuinely, in a heartfelt way. Bring this people into your mind in a genuine way and say those phrases. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace. Then move on to a difficult person. Bring to mind someone maybe who pushes your buttons. Don't pick the most difficult person. Pick someone who's mildly irritating to you. Visualize them. Then imagine a time in their life when they may have been suffering. Bring that person into your mind and your heart. Cultivate the strong wish that they be relieved of that suffering. From all suffering and all causes of suffering. By saying silently to yourself, "May you be free from suffering." Remember, try to be heartfelt in the way that you say this. Then generate the wish for that person to experience happiness by saying silently to yourself, "May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be at peace." Remember to do this in a genuine and heartfelt way when you repeat these phrases silently. Then finally move on to as many people as you can. Try and visualize as many people, the whole world if you can, the whole universe if you can. All different types of beings and animals and so on. Reflect that they all experience some type of suffering. Then generate the wish for them to be completely free of this and all suffering, and all causes of suffering, by saying silently to yourself, "May you all be free from suffering." Be genuine and heartfelt in this wish. May you all be free from suffering. Then generate the wish for all these beings to experience happiness by saying silently to yourself, "May you all be happy." May you all be healthy. May you all be at peace. Remember, bring all these beings into your mind and into your heart. Repeat these phrases in a genuine and heartfelt way. May you all be happy. May you all be healthy. May you all be at peace. Then concentrate single-pointedly on that feeling of compassion and loving kindness for all people that you've now generated. Hold that feeling, focus on it. And finally, think you'll carry this feeling of kindness with you throughout your day. Bring this kindness to everyone you meet, to every situation that you encounter. Okay, so now you can do your own loving kindness meditation practice. If you want to do some meditation, do between 10 to 20 minutes a day if you can. Start by placing your attention on your breath to settle your mind. Then do this loving kindness meditation. If you're interested in learning more about meditation, the Tibetan Buddhist Society does have an introduction to meditation course that's on at the moment. It's on Sundays at 1:30 in the afternoon. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoy the rest of the Buddhist Spring Festival.